Welcome to the first ever, maybe, I'm not sure when this is going to air, episode of Songwriter Shop Talk. See, that wasn't too hard to say. I am joined today by Chafim, also known as Dominica. Actually, your name is Dominica, but you are known as Chafim. And I invited her today because I wanted to talk to her about her experience with Steemit, her life as a songwriter, when she started, and all those good questions I'm sure all of us want to know. So, Chatham well, we agreed. You want me to call you Chatham or Dominica?
You can call me Dominica. I prefer Dominica because that's my real name, and Chai FM. This is this project that I we started with my friends long time ago, and I took this name as a brand, but then it didn't evolve as planned. So right now I prefer Dominica.
Dominica. Okay.
And actually, Chai FM. It was our radio, which is quite funny or ironic that now we are having this show. so, so that's why I chose this name. But yeah, Dominica is fine.
Okay. I'll make it a point not to forget. But at the same time, I am gonna ask you why that name. I know there's a story behind it, and we're gonna
Mhm.
get to that for a second. But just because this is Steemit and this is going to be playing on MSP Waves and on PAL, and people I'm sure want to know, because everybody wants to know where the Steemians came from. How did you find Steam? And after that, after you answer that, how did you get involved with the open mic community, the musicians of Steam?
So I found out about Steemit through my friend Sam Stonehill. He has a very nice account, and he shares quite a lot of interesting information. And he, I think, taught so many people how to use Steemit and how to make money out of it and how to share all interesting content. So it was thanks to him, and he is from Bali. No, he's in Bali right now, but we met many years ago in UK. And I'm originally from Slovakia, and right now I live in Berlin. So I guess somehow in this crazy travel lifestyle, somehow I heard about Steemit. And it's quite funny because I joined it maybe a year and a half ago, and I created this account. But then for 1 year, I didn't do anything with it because I thought it's a waste of my time.
You are kidding me.
So I didn't. I didn't get it, and I was like, no, it's a waste of my time. And I think it's just it wasn't the right time in general. And then I moved to Berlin in August.
And the rest is
I
history? No.
Yeah,
I
and
am I'm
somehow I
completely blown away
became
by this that you actually so you are one of the first Steam accounts, you're one of the first musicians on the platform, but you abandoned the account for like a whole year? Is that am I getting this right?
account, and maybe I posted one or something like that, and it made like 30 cents, and I was like, no, this is not working for me. I give up. But also that time, I wasn't so much into music and writing my own songs.
No way.
So yeah,
I'm blown away twice right now. Oh, your songs
so
are
I
so
think it was
beautiful.
just really at the thank you so much. But yeah, a year and a half ago, it was really just at the beginning of my music journey, which I still say I'm at the beginning of my journey. But um, yeah, a year and a half ago, it was definitely step 0 or -2, and yeah, I was just starting to meet other musicians and other people, and I maybe a year and a half ago I wouldn't be able to join open mic because yeah, maybe I wouldn't be able to play guitar well enough or sing well enough. I don't know. So
Mm.
I guess I just needed this time. And then when I moved to Berlin, I don't know. I felt very inspired, and I'm constantly surrounded by a lot of artists. Want to share some song. This one song that I really liked with a lot of people, but originally I just shared it on Facebook with my friends, and I was like, oh, I can put it on Steemit. So I put it on Steemit, and it was crazy that, it's this crazy feeling that, okay, you posted the last thing before you go to bed, And then you go to sleep and you wake up in the morning, and I looked at the number and I was like, what? There are
You,
3 digits in this number. That's crazy.
when did this happen? Like 4 months ago, 5 months ago?
Yeah, August.
Oh, August.
Maybe
Oh, I didn't get that.
August. Yeah.
And so you
Yeah.
woke up that morning and you see those numbers and you just got to go wash your face. You're like, there's no way this is a trick. Where's the
I
scam
think I
here?
cried a bit.
You kidding me? But from of
yeah,
joy, right? We're not, you didn't. You were just
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was really touched, and um, it's like this hope that okay, well, maybe one day I will be able to make some money with things that I really enjoy. Um,
There's something so
uh,
powerful behind that statement, right? Because I mean, I'm a musician myself, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Especially because being a musician also means that you have to learn how to be comfortably vulnerable. So because you put yourself out there, you sing your heart out, and if you're doing original songs like you are, if you're a songwriter, it's even more so because you're writing personal stuff, and it's almost like the moment that you put that out there, you're thinking to yourself, is this part of me going to be accepted or rejected, right? It is such it is such a vulnerable situation to put yourself in, and it really requires bravery. Would you not agree with that?
yes, totally, but I think there are like different steps of bravery. That, for example, I think Steemit it gives this little advantage that actually you don't meet the people, and everybody is super nice because you want to be friends with everybody because that's how the system is set. That hating somebody is not going to help you get anywhere, which is I think how it used to be when you used to live in a small village. So I think that's nice that
Agreed.
people are generally nice because there's no point of not being nice. Um, Still, for example, I don't share my own songs with my friends on Facebook or something like that. Like, this is the step of bravery where I didn't get yet. Because I feel like that's way too personal. But with people that I don't really know or meet frequently, I'm like, yeah, sure, you can read my diary. Go for it.
Well, because
um,
there's that wall of anonymity, right? To everyone on Steemit, you're Chatham, you're not Dominica, and they don't actually know where you live. You obviously right now I can hear the accent. You have an accent, but when you sing, you don't. So if somebody has just heard you singing, they have no idea that you're not, British or American because you're singing in really good English.
Thank you. Yeah, so the anonymity, I think it's a nice advantage for share your music.
Did I ever tell you? Well, maybe not when because we had a short conversation last week, but maybe I didn't tell you this. But I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna put it on MSP so people can hear this crazy stuff. I did made a post about this a while ago. Did I ever tell you my trick to getting over that fear of sharing my own songs? Because I call it the nuclear option. I got to tell you this trick, and it works really good.
Yes, please do so. Yeah.
Um, I've been singing my own songs maybe since I was like 15, 16, and of course they're cheesy things that I wish I nobody would ever listen to them again because they're terrible. But I struggle back then as much as I do now when I write something new and I'm thinking to myself, is this gonna be something people are gonna receive? They're gonna get it or not? And my mental trick, my self ninja thing that I do to my own brain is I would get on stage, yeah, right? Because I would, this would be playing in the band. I had a band of original music. I would get on stage and I would imagine that everybody, absolutely everybody there, were evil and I hated them. So I would be looking at the crowd and I'm thinking to myself, that guy's a jerk. Look at him. That guy right there, pff, total douche. This guy over here, and this lady over here, she's got to be the worst. And I'm thinking about every single person that's on this place like they are horrible people. And when I trick myself into that, then I'm like, yeah, who cares if they don't like my music? They're idiots. And, and then I would get up on there on the stage, and I would start singing my song, play my song, and once they clap, then I forget all about the fact that I didn't like them, and then I love them.
I think there is a very thin line between love and hate,
Oh, for
you
sure,
know?
for sure. But it was almost like I just like you, I'm sure, and just like most songwriters, the stuff I write is very personal. Like it's things that if me and you were to sit down and you were to ask me about, a past relationship, and I would not share as much as I have in notes, chords, and lyrics. You know,
Yeah.
so because it's I'm not singing a song from an artist that this is so good, I like it. No, it's me. This happened to me. Um, I the fear of rejection is too real. So I needed to use that little trick to get over it.
Yeah, and I also think there's some difference between playing live for other people,
Have you done
sharing
that?
your
Are you
music.
doing that or not currently?
Yeah, well, last year, 2017, this was my breakthrough year with the performances. So I had the first concert for a couple of friends, and then I met. Actually, it's a really interesting story how it started. So I went to this very nice place in Bratislava in Slovakia. There was some concert, and after there was a music jam. And one Italian painter, he was like, "Oh, you should have a concert here next time." And I was like, "Okay, sure." About it, but I didn't really think too much about it because I was like, "Oh, it's this, late night, midnight, drunk conversation, whatever." But in the end, I figured out he wasn't drunk at all. He's just a very happy person. And then a couple of days later, I saw that he's having a painting exhibition in my hometown, and I was like, "Yeah, I will come. Where is the exhibition?" And he was like, "At the opening of my exhibition and sing." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So that was a very, very incidents. And that was the first time that I played in public, and I survived, and it was very nice,
You
intimate
survived.
atmosphere. Yeah, I survived.
Did you walk away with
um,
wounds at least or no?
I really, really enjoyed it. The moment of the playing these two songs, I really, really enjoyed it, and I felt so happy. I really felt like I want to share this beautiful music with these beautiful people, and the message of the songs, it's something that I really want to share with the people. Yeah, it was a very, very nice experience, and I should remind myself of this experience more often. That
It is addictive,
you,
like, right? Wouldn't you
yeah,
say so?
like I think once you get there and you play for the people and you are already playing, then it's fine. It's just all this time before that's really nerve wracking. I think. Decided that this year I want to play more in front of other people. In real life, not just on internet. Yesterday, yeah, Monday. Yesterday, I went to see this open mic. Set up, and okay, they have microphone, whatever. And I want to go and do it next week. But just sitting there and looking at this guy, I was so nervous. I was like, "Oh my god!" It's kind of exciting, but still, I feel respect
Oh,
performing.
for sure. But my point is that it is an addictive thing. Like the first time I did it, I remember being extremely nervous, and once it went through really well, I was like, okay, this is good. Then I did it again. Next thing I knew, I was playing 3 or 4 times a week, and I could not see myself doing anything else. It can become pretty addictive.
Yeah, yeah. I understand totally what you mean, but I think for me this change was also tied together with my move from my country, where I feel quite safe, to a completely new environment. So I didn't feel straight away like, okay, I'm going to play for you all now. And so I think it's just getting back on my feet, and yeah, I maybe not yet in the playing for other people, but what is for me very addictive is playing with other people.
Of course.
That
It,
actually that's the reason why I started to play music again, because I really, really, that's for me one of the life is to play music with other people, not so much for, but with, and like, having a conversation, but instead of speaking in English or Slovak or Spanish or whatever, you speak music, and it's really nice.
It is a language, and you're so right about that. I had a special place when I used to live in Arizona. There was a, I'm sure it's still around. It was called the Fiddler's Dream, and it was an acoustic venue, no amplifiers allowed, no microphones, nothing, and a bunch of musicians would meet up there, and we would just play. There would be a stage. Nobody would talk. Nobody would dare to say a word. There would be a stage. People would get up, and there would be this massive uh, groups that would be formed right there on the spot. And you would just grab an instrument, go on stage, and perform along with everybody else. And I'll tell you, it's not that I want to get too like woo woo magic mantra whatever. I don't know about that stuff. What I do know is that when I was up there, I was in an emotional nirvana. Like I was suspended in time, and what I felt, it's not, well, words fall short. It's hard to describe. Like if somebody has never done it, if you've never been jamming with somebody else on stage or
Mhm.
not, just sharing that moment, you can't describe it.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, so I'm with you 100%. Now, let me ask you this, because you keep on saying that you're from another country. You said Czechoslovakia? Did I get that right?
Slovakia, Slovakia,
Slovakia. I'm so sorry.
Czechoslovakia. They got divorced, a couple of years ago. So now it's Czech Republic and Slovakia. So I'm from Slovakia. Yeah.
Got you. And then you moved about a year ago. So did you always know English? And I know that might sound like a crazy question, but it is common for
No, no,
Europeans
no,
to
no.
speak a bunch of languages. But I'm curious because you're very fluent.
So it's a long story. um, so I think since I was 18, I would always travel somewhere around Europe because I was very active even during my time at university with different student organizations, and they would always send me somewhere. Egypt and Finland and UK, and I spent 2 months in Cyprus during uni. So they would always send me somewhere for some conference, and I really fell in love with this international traveling atmosphere. And then when I was 21, I moved to London, and I lived there for 3 years. And I traveled for 2 years, and I spent most of the time in Asia. Cold part of the year, I was in Asia, and then for the summer, I was in Europe. And I did this for 2 years, and then I moved back to Slovakia for 2 or 3 years.
That sounds like an amazing life. I don't know if anybody that's listening to this is going to agree with me, but I've only lived in two countries, but I've visited a few, but I've never been to Europe, and I'm not proud of that fact. I hope to change
Well,
that this year.
it's it's becoming closer and closer. There are always some new um, low-cost airlines, so yeah, totally. I recommend.
Does that mean that you speak a few languages besides obviously I know that you speak some Spanish because
However,
I've seen you write stuff in Spanish. I'm gonna assume that you speak it, right?
so last year I was for 2.5 months, and I really, really love Spanish, and I tried to learn, but 2 years,
But
I think my Spanish is great, but it's not, I think, so great. And when I was at high school, I learned Italian a bit. So it's very similar, I think, like jamming and music, that
hmm
if I'm in the right mindset, like so many words and sentences can come to my mind. but when it's like, okay, and let's speak now, then sometimes it doesn't come.
well, I love languages. It's one of my passions. I speak a few myself, and yesterday I was having a conversation with my girl, and we were saying how it's not obviously it's not a rule, but it might be that most of the time musicians have a bit of an advantage into learning a language. And the reason why I say that is because not to say that they have a physical attribute that other people don't, but because music is about learning how to listen, and that's more important than even making sounds. That you have to learn how to listen. The best way to learn a language is to learn how to listen to the nuances, to the rules, and all that stuff. So I believe that there is some sort of advantage. Somebody might disagree with me and say that Menno's talking absolute nonsense, but I've met quite a few musicians, especially the ones that travel, that speak many
Mhm.
languages. So I'm not really like surprised that you do. And the fact that you've been to so many countries, it blows my mind. That's amazing.
No, but I totally agree with you. I think a combination of a couple of things that like learning how to speak different language, you kind of same sounds and same melodies and so on. So if you have good ear, then it's going to be easier for you. But also, I think that in general, artists, or if you are a person who creates a lot of things, then somehow this gives you this confidence, and you actually want to share and communicate with other people about it. And because you really want to communicate, then you are more likely to learn how to communicate. And I think have so many passions or hobbies are in general also maybe a little bit more shy and not so talkative. So I don't know. I think it's somehow all connected.
Agreed,
Yeah.
100%. Now, to shift the conversation a little bit, tell me, how did you, and I'm sure I'm going to have her on the show because she has to. If not, I'm going to send some people, some assassins to her house. She's going to have to come to the show. So, how did you meet Melavie, and why are you girls not recording an album together? So, two questions.
Hello, Melody. If you are listening, when are you coming to Berlin? um, yes. So it's very, very sorry again. Uh,
You're cutting out a
year and
little
a
bit, so
half
make
ago.
sure. I'm sorry, Dominica. If you're pressing, are you doing if you're doing push to talk, make sure you press and hold for like maybe half a second before you talk. Cause I'm getting your audio a little cut out. And if you're doing voice activity, which you might be, then I guess it is what it is.
So should I just wait before I speak,
Well, if you're
or
doing push to
I didn't
talk,
get it?
yeah, if you're doing push to talk, you press the button and maybe wait like half a second and then talk. Because sometimes the beginning of your sentences they get cut. But sometimes, not all the time.
Okay. Um, we'll
But
wait half a second.
but go for it. You were gonna tell me how did you meet Melavie?
Maybe the story. So we met not this summer, but the summer before. So yeah, year and a half ago. We met in Czech Republic at this festival that it's called Festival of Creativity.
Okay, that sounds pretty
Sound,
interesting.
yeah, it's a really really amazing place. I absolutely recommend it to everybody who is listening. If you are in Europe, you need to get there. Even if you are not in Europe, you need to get there. Just get your flight ticket and go. It's a very special festival. It's it's quite small. It's only limited to 100 people, and it's a you really get connected to yourself and to all the other people and to nature because it's deep down in the forest, in the beautiful hills, and you have no internet, no phones, no electricity, no alcohol, no meat, no drugs, and it's just basically you in this beautiful nature with all these beautiful people, and everybody who comes somehow is always really amazing artist in whatever is that they do. Spend the whole day attending or giving workshops on whatever creative thing you can think of, from drawing, singing, dancing, to doing yoga, giving massage, and then
How
during
did you hear
the
about this? If it's so
most of the
small, I would assume that it's not something that
um, I think I just came across it somewhere on Facebook. I think I saw this small website that's called Small Gatherings and Festivals Around Europe. And I saw it and I really felt this big need to go to something like this. And I was right.
Well,
um,
when things are meant to be, they're meant to be, right? Like, what are the
but
odds?
just to finish about the festival, so
Mhm.
the most beautiful part for me is that the whole night you spend sitting around the fire and just jamming. Last year we had I think 2 or 3 people playing violin with the viola. We had the saxophone, sopra saxophone, clarinet. One guy came and he combined a bass with the drum because it's only acoustic, so there's no electricity.
Mhm.
And so many beautiful singers. singers and yeah, people who make their own music and are amazing in jamming and improvising. So it was really a special place, and that's where I met Mela V. Yeah,
Well, that
we
sounds
became
awesome.
friends.
And Melody was just there, and you said, "Hey, you look like a Melody. Let's be friends." Is that how it
The
happened?
first, something like that. So the first night I came really late, and I just sat down at the fire, and Mela V was singing some song with another girl, and it was so beautiful. And I just looked at them, and I was like, oh, I feel like we should all be friends.
Just like
And
that.
then yeah, I felt like, oh, we need to be friends. And then yeah, it was so beautiful. And then I think maybe next day or day after, we met and we sat down and we talked for a really long time, and we missed some workshop that we wanted to go for because we were just talking nonstop. And yeah, that's the story.
And so you, but I thought I saw, and I could be wrong, but I thought I saw a video of you two together, like maybe
Yeah,
4 months ago. So do you currently
yeah, yeah,
live in the
yeah.
same town or
Oh,
no?
so Mela lives in Austria,
Mm-hmm.
and she came for a visit. She came to Berlin for a week, and so we managed to record some songs together. Actually, I still have some videos that I didn't publish from that period, so everybody coming. um, it's a video of Mela basking in the tube station,
Okay.
and it's really nice.
All right, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
check that out. And so does I am sure is Mela as well traveled as you? Not really, right? Has she been all over
yeah,
the world like you?
yeah. She traveled in Asia, also in Latin America, and
What
I
is
think
this?
right now,
I'm like missing out so much. It's like I'm talking to, and the worst part is that and I'm gonna say this like a compliment. So take it like a compliment. It's like we in America, right? We pride ourselves on like, oh, we're the best nation, we're the land of the free, and all this stuff. And most of us spend most of our lives just working, and we don't, we drone away. We work, we work, we work. Next thing you know, we're we're getting up there in age, and we haven't seen the world. And it's a tragic thing. I find it to be a tragedy. I mean, not only because of the experience itself, which might be fantastic to go see new countries and all that, is because, but also because there is a lack of perspective when you have lived your whole life in a bubble. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And I think in US you have like 10 days of holidays per year, no, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it depends on the job.
It's,
Some don't even give you
depends on
that.
the job.
Yeah, depends on the
Pretty
job.
crazy because I think in Europe, in most of the places, you have 4 or 5 weeks, and yeah, it's a important thing to do. But for both of us, we took a like a sabbatical break a couple of times, and yeah, I think it's something for me very important to travel. And people say that if you go and travel for a long time, that oh, you are just running away from something and trying to escape, and I don't know. But I think you can always also be at home and escape through different things. That's one thing.
You nailed it. That's so true.
Yeah, but for me, the travel it's always out of love, not
N-
really out of fear from running away, but really out of love that this world is very beautiful place and things to see and so many beautiful people to meet. Um, so traveling, and for me personally, I just like very slow traveling. So I like to stay in one place maybe for a month or two, and really get to know it. And I don't need to move every couple of days. But yeah, it's sometimes I feel like you can travel even when you are home, and it's just that you have some really new experience. Like you meet some special person, or you play guitar, or you paint something that can be traveling too. That I think that always have to be that you physically have to move, but maybe internally as well.
We are, especially because of the possibility of Steam, Steemit. We are probably moving towards a situation to where a musician could travel the world and blog about it and record songs and not have to worry about, how they're gonna eat, which is a fantastic idea, especially if somebody has like that kind of free soul kind of the way that you are describing it, which is traveling for the sake of enjoying the world, enjoying the beauty, and really hunting for those experiences. The possibility that Steam it has for somebody like you is mind-boggling. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to
definitely.
have a day job to see the world. You could just go around, play songs for people, record yourself, participate in contests, come to this radio show, do all this stuff
Totally.
from wherever you are. All you need is Wi-Fi, right?
But yeah, exactly. But I think even that for a long time, even without Steemit, I think it's really possible that if you have something that you love to share with people and you are somewhat good at it, there are so many people who travel for a long time, and they just share what they know as they travel, and a lot of people think that, oh, I cannot travel because I don't have enough money, and that's really really not a good mindset. That there is travel that a lot of people imagine that, okay, I will stay in a hotel, it will be this expensive, and there are so many other opportunities from volunteering in some place. Then I have met so many very inspiring people who are, for example, I have a friend from Nepal, and Nepal is one of the poorest countries in the world, and he's now traveling for second year nonstop, and he went all throughout Southeast Asia now. He went through Chile to Brazil, and he is making his living as he's traveling with painting murals, and he's a tattooist.
But it takes a
For
special
some,
kind of person, though. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I've seen it
but
myself.
I think that if we search a little bit more for what is this special thing inside, like people can find it and share it also as they travel. But you have to sacrifice some comfort, and I think a lot of people don't want to do that.
But you know that's a reason. I mean, there's a fear of the unknown, right? You're gonna go to a
Yeah.
country. I don't have. We have this idea, and it could be completely off. That we are only safe if we have money, and that is pretty far from the truth. We could have $1 million in a bank and still die. So I know that sounded really tragic, but my point is that we have this weird notion. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna achieve this. I'm gonna do that, but only when I have the money, like you said. And at the end of the day, when there's a will, there's a way. And it's such a cliche thing to say, but it is so true.
Yeah, but also with Steemit, it's getting more easier and easier, and it's nice that you can share what you learn on the way with other people.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll see. For me, it's still a surprise. It's still a new thing, and um, don't rely 100% on Steemit and think that forever I will just make my money only with Steemit till the end of my life. But I think as long as you do what you love and you are getting better at it, I think good will come back.
I agree with you 100%. And we've been talking about you, of course, about your philosophy, about who you are as a person. But one of the things that we wanted to do, and in the show, like, and I say we, me and you, is also showcase some of your songs, some of your music. So I know you sent me a few for me to check out, and I've actually heard all of them because I've been following you for a while now, and I'm a fan. So I'm gonna ask you, what inspired you to write "Summer Kind of Love"? This is a beautiful track. I'm sure that it's been played before on Isaria's show. I think I remember actually her playing it. So me
Nice.
playing it here won't be the first time it's on this radio station.
Oh,
But
well,
we don't have the background. What inspired you to write that song? What is it all about?
boy, surprise, surprise. It's about this very beautiful feeling that you have when it's summer and it's sunshine outside and everything is very beautiful and you meet this very beautiful person. And I wrote this song. Actually, we were at this lake and he went for a swim and I had my guitar. So while he was swimming, I wrote this song. This kind of nostalgic feeling that you know that everything is so perfect and so beautiful. going to be any better. So you also feel this nostalgia that, okay, in a couple of months it's going to be really cold, and it's not going to be like this.
You can't go to the pool anymore with with the boy you like.
Yeah, yeah, and also maybe that like your ways will not continue together. So this is what is the song about. That it's about this joy and happiness of a beautiful summer day, and then the last part of the song I wrote already when it was called. um, yeah, the I like this song. This is one of the songs that I like listening to, and for me, it's like a very new experience to listen to my music and be like, "Oh, I really like this song." um,
It is a lovely song. I enjoy it a lot. So
Thank you.
we're gonna listen to it. I'm gonna go ahead and play it for people because they hear us talking about music and they don't know. They're like, oh, okay, what is it though? Let me hear it. So they'll see why I'm a fan of your talent, of your skills. Why I'm a fan of your lyrics, and I've told you so many times. There are times when I've been, and I have to confess before I play it real quick. There are times where I've been writing a compliment to you, and I've stopped myself and I go like, hmm, maybe that's too much. I don't want her to think I'm a stalker. Yeah.
Oh, that's very sweet. Um,
It's just because like, there's been more than one occasion you've made me cry. So I'm like, oh, I want to say, yeah, that's too much. Let me delete that. That's too much. I'm just emotional because it was so beautiful. So this is one of the songs I really really enjoyed. So I'm glad we're gonna play it for people.
cool, cool, cool.
Steemit, open mic, week 55. There are so many things waiting for you. So many fruits you never tasted. There goes my mind, so far away to face it. Just give me a summer kind of love, and I'll be a summer kind of love, love, love. Give me a summer kind of love, and I'll be a summer kind of love, love, love. More than a memory far away, reality. Just for a moment frozen in eternity. And welcome to your new life. And this is where you live, master of your disaster. Now you are the king, and now be a summer kind of love. Just give me a summer kind of love, love, love. Give me a summer kind of love. I was your summer kind of love, love, love.
Well, that I think I honestly that song is just beautiful. I honestly think that was the first one for me because I found you right around the time that I found Melody. And it was because you were interacting with her and she had a post that went up. It had one of
Mm-hmm.
those Curie votes, and I was like, oh, and it was great. She's a super talented girl. And then I saw your name in her comments, and I was like, oh, here's another open mic competitor. And then I saw, I'm pretty sure it was this song, and I said, whoa, what is this?
Thank
And
you.
I've been
Thank you very
following you
much.
since then. Oh, it's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
And
And
I know you heard this before, but you have this thing about your voice. And I know the songwriting itself is one thing, and the vocal ability is another, and they can be completely disconnected. So the fact that you have great songwriting skills and a beautiful voice is just, it's I don't know, like you're lucky twice. Let me say it that way. But
thank you
and
so
I've heard
much.
this before. Do you style your voice against somebody? Is it something that you said, you know what, I like how this per so and so sounds. I'm gonna give it a try, or it just came to you natural? Because it's very unique to you.
Mm-hmm. Um, Maybe it's when I was to learn how to play guitar. I met a lot of people, and everybody has a little bit different voice. And then at one point, I met this girl, and she also has this thing that her singing voice is very different than the voice that she speaks with.
Yeah,
In
completely different. Like
and
I wouldn't put two and two
yeah,
together.
yeah, me neither. And she had this kind of deep. I describe it that like a honey sound, like it's this very
Yeah.
um,
I think that's a great description. There's a lot of honey in there.
yeah, and we were singing together, and I think I'm this overly sensitive person, and if I spend too much time with somebody who has a strong accent or who speaks in a certain way, I will start to do the same. And when I met this girl, her, and I was like, oh, I really enjoy this kind of color of voice.
And it
Yeah,
just but you didn't ask her, "Hey, so what are you doing? And what's the technique?" It just
no,
started happening on its own.
I think I think also that, for example, if I would go to a place like this festival where for 1 week you just sing and jam every day all the time,
Hmm.
then it's starting to change. Or in general, my voice is changing a lot. When I came back from Costa Rica after 2.5 months, I was just so relaxed and so happy and so carefree that also my voice really changed and opened up, and really it's like it was released and it could be more relaxed, and I was able to sing songs that I wasn't able to sing before. And then sometimes when I stressful environment, then it becomes more tense and I can't do it. So now I'm learning how to do it more and more consciously.
Well, but
It's
then that means you're a natural. Then I mean, it's one of those things that it's really easy to identify, but it's extremely hard to teach. Like, and what I mean by that is this: um, you can go and take songwriting lessons. You can go and take vocal lessons, and there's traditional schools of music, and there's modern schools of music, and you can teach people, diaphragm, proper breathing, all that stuff. But to have a unique voice, okay, here, I'm gonna give you your fingerprint, if there is such a thing. I'm gonna give you your
mhm.
vocal fingerprint. You can't teach that. At least I don't know how to do it.
But I think still I tried to how to sing and play for a long time, and I started maybe ago when I still live in London, and it was so horrible. It was so bad.
Oh yeah.
I would record myself, and it was just really bad. Um, and but
Everybody
I think
says
it
that.
was
I'm sure if I listen to it, I'll be like, "What are you talking about, Dominic? This is beautiful." And you'll be like, "No, no, don't listen."
no, but I think it's also very connected with fear. I think it's one of the things that you cannot do it if you are afraid, and if you are, then your voice will be very tense, and everybody will hear it straight away, and it's just not going to work. So I think that singing is one of the things where, yes, you can take singing lessons, but you just need to decide not to be afraid. And that will help you so much more than hundreds of hours of singing lessons, which I'm sure they're really great. And I want to take some because there's still some notes that I don't know why I can't hit, and I really want to hit them. But yeah, I guess it's still the fear factor as well.
Well,
Yeah, I
definitely,
think
but
it's.
that's exactly you're really backing up my point because your voice comes to you naturally. There was no training for that, and the fact that you have no formal training at all um, just tells me that you haven't even tapped into the whole power that you can have in your voice. Like if there is such a thing as opening up your vocal cords, there might be a scientific thing that occurs. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not a vocal coach, but that
Mhm.
process is something that gets done when you start taking vocal lessons. They teach you. I remember from when I used to do them, they teach you these really funny sounds that you have to make, and then you do these scales and stuff. And the whole idea is to connect the three voices, right? So you have like a chest voice, a head voice, and so all this technical information is really to fine tune the raw material. But if you are at a raw state, you claim to be. I don't. It doesn't sound like it to me, but you claim to be, and you haven't been taught these things. That means that once you do it, then that's it. It's over. We're gonna shut down Steam, and it's over.
No, I had maybe like two singing lessons with my friends, and they gave me a bunch of exercises to do, but I never do them. And I really want to start. It's just that for me to warm up, I prefer to warm up with like a easier song, harder
Okay.
song.
Instead of the funny sounds, they teach you the
I don't
the the pressing your lips and doing the toot, 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 toot with all like a little trumpet. Like,
scales and yeah, I can't make this sound now, but
no, they're really horrible. I don't think anybody wants to hear the vocal
yeah.
warming.
um,
There's something called vocal frying that they used to make me do, and it really sounds like I ate a duck, and that's how it sounds like. But it's supposed to stretch the vocal cords.
yeah, I want to do it, and I know it's coming. It's just it's like with the exercise that I prefer maybe to dance or to fight or to do something that's fun and play than to go to gym and work out. And the two things have kind of similar results, that you move and you do exercise and you do something healthy for yourself, but I like when it's fun. So it's very similar for singing, that I don't like to do these exercises in a vocal gym. I just like to play.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I'm the same way.
Mm,
100% with both in both instances. I love playing sports, but not because I'm thinking it's like, oh, I need to work out. No, I just love playing sports. So let's go play soccer. Let's go play basketball. It's fun. And same thing. I love singing, but if you tell me, hey, we're gonna do all these scales, and it's like, no, that's boring. You know.
yeah,
So I'm with you, 100%.
yeah,
So,
but
go
we'll
ahead.
get there.
No, no,
Don't
this is
don't.
this is great. This is great. Like I said, I none of what I said is actually supposed to, in any way, not encourage you to continue exploring your voice. Like it's not like I say, okay, that's it, you're done, you're perfect. It's more to tell you, hey, listen, you are already amazing, and what have you not even learned about your own voice and your own writing too? That is just around the block. I'm gonna ask you something. And I think we're almost up to the hour, but it's okay. If you are willing to continue talking to me, I'm willing to continue talking to you because we're having a great conversation. I'm going to ask you something. There was a post you made. I want to say maybe it was 2 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. And in the
Yeah,
post you said, "Am I allowed to be an artist?" You had like you do this really cute post. I think they're fantastic because it's not only that you share the song, and share the lyrics. You put pictures of you writing the song. I think it adds a lot of value to the post. That's my personal opinion. But one of the things that you put in this post is, "Am I allowed to be an artist?" And I wanted to ask you, what was going through your mind when you wrote that little, I guess you could say, quote? Am I allowed to be an artist? What was going through your head?
I think it's this post that it's a picture that I found a book and it says you are allowed to be an artist. No, something like this.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. Well, I come from Slovakia, and from or my family has this background that you should get a do things the proper way, and um, it's something that really hard question. That I think for most of my life it was expected from me to do like this serious thing, and being artist was not one of them, and I guess for a big part of my life I was waiting for this permission that to do something, or to make art, or to be an artist, or to be a singer, and no, why it was so scary for me. Um,
Am I to understand that there's very little to no professional musicians back home? Would that be a fair statement?
no, let's start again. What
Okay.
did I mean by you are allowed to be an artist?
Hmm.
Um, I think that I'm in my life that sometimes it's hard for me to put this title, on myself. That yes, I'm a singer, or yes, I'm a musician, yes, I'm an artist, yes, I'm a photographer, and because how that this person is already an artist, and when do you become an artist? And I think that for me, it's just shy about it, and there are so many things that I feel like I am that sometimes it's hard to find it inside.
I think I
I
understand
think
what you're saying. Let me correct me if I'm wrong. It almost seems like calling yourself an artist. Like if let's say I'm calling myself an artist. If I was to say I'm an artist, I might be coming off as cocky, as like, oh, you know
yeah,
what, I am the artist. I make
yeah,
without like all of a sudden I lost my humility, right? Is that kind of where it's coming from? It's like it's not a humble thing to say, hey, I'm an artist.
yeah. I think this is one of the places where it's coming from, definitely. And also, it's that how do you judge your art? That is it already good enough to be an art? um,
That's a valid point. I'm
um,
going to tell you something funny, and we're kind of going on a tangent, but not too much. Depending on the culture that you are talking about, you might not even be well seen, right? If you call yourself an artist, and what I mean by that is this: in I know that I actually know this, believe it or not, but I know that in the Russian culture, you cannot call yourself an artist. Like nobody goes like I am an artist, and they can be amazing, but they cannot. They don't call themselves an artist because if you do, I guess in that culture, it makes you a fake, right? So when I've spoken to Russian people, and they've asked me or a friend of mine or whatever if I'm what I do, and I say, oh, I'm an artist, they find that to be awkward, almost as if I'm being conceited or something. But what happens
mhm.
is in America, the label doesn't hold the same amount of weight. And what I'm trying to say is this: in in cultures where art has been, I guess you could call it, at the highest peak of expression, which is the case of a culture like Russia. There's been amazing art that's come from Russia, and on different aspects too. We're talking not only music, poetry, and of course ballet. Everybody knows about Russian ballet. All this art, they it develops a sense of elitism, right? Which is to say, to be an artist is to belong to the elite of art, and but it's not the case in the original meaning of the word, because the original meaning of art is expression, right? So when you were asking that question in that post, I guess that's what I was sensing. I was like, is it one of those things to where she's feeling like I to the point to where other people would call me an artist, not so much if you could call yourself. Am I wrong, or did I more or less get it?
Honestly, I never heard of this thing that you said about Russia, but it sounds really. Um, but it sounds like it makes sense a lot, and we are not too far from that culture. But also, I think in Slovak language, I wouldn't say I am an artist. That sounds really odd.
Oh yeah, let me hear
I
it. Let me hear
wouldn't
it.
say that. Yeah,
Let's put this on the internet. How do you say I'm an artist in Slovak? Let me hear it.
get ready. Ja som umelec.
It sounds pretty benign to me. It doesn't sound like something we should argue about.
Yeah,
I know your language
interesting.
is also Slavic, so actually it
Yeah.
sounded familiar. Sounded familiar to me.
Uh, I think the background of it's similar. And now speaking about it, here on this radio show and in English, I'm like, well, that's a really stupid thought to have. Like, of course, I'm an artist. I'm on a radio show and we are playing my songs. Like, I guess we are. I'm an artist, but yeah, it's something that I think from where I'm coming from, it's to admit it to yourself.
No, but you know what? But I think it's pretty much okay, and I would say maybe even healthy to have a good amount of humility. Yeah, meaning, we should never believe, and I say we because I put every single one of us in the same boat,
Mm.
that we achieved greatness. Like all of a sudden, like that's it. I'm done. I wrote the perfect song. I wrote the best melody, and that's it. I'm done. I'm never gonna outdo myself. Because yeah, I think that's a terrible mentality to have. That's probably how you do the opposite, which is to burn out as a musician, or even never achieve happiness again. So it's a good thing to not to say to yourself, okay, this was a great song, I love it, but I'm not there yet. And not because it's like self-hate or loathing. It's not like, oh my god, I suck. No, it's more like, you know what, I did great. What did I learn? What can I learn now? It's and life itself, not just music. It's a process of growing, or process of learning. And I'm gonna ask you something, and because I want to get your input, but I think I know the answer. How do you feel about the first songs you wrote in comparison to the ones that
That's
you
a
wrote now, and how did you feel back then about the song?
really interesting question. So actually, the first song that I wrote, I think it was back in 2014, and maybe after I wrote it, I recorded the song. Maybe for a year, I really, really, really hated the song so much. Very strange for me to say because I don't ever hate anything. But the song, I really hated it. But I think it was because it was like this very heavy breakup song, and I think more than the song, I really hated the situation. And
Makes perfect sense to me. Trust
uh,
me.
yeah, and yeah, so it was just this really heavy feeling, and I don't know why I wrote it if I hated it so much. Like it didn't really make sense to me, but I was home, there was piano, and I was like, oh, this is the song, and like the words just came, like, and I was like, okay, the words are good, but still I hate the song. And then I moved again somewhere, and I got this another new boyfriend, and he was a musician. So we would play a lot of music together.
Hmm.
And at one point, I played him the song, and then my other flatmate was also a musician, so I played her the song, and they were both like, "Yeah, it's a good song." And then slowly, I stopped hating it, and from step by step, I actually started to like it. Um, and
Would it be fair to say that you hated the emotions that it would evoke on you more than the melody or the lyrics? It was more like it was a hot cognition. You would
feeling,
you would sing the song,
yeah,
and you would relive the pain. And
yeah,
I guess I'm
yeah,
sounding
it
dramatic,
was
but
dramatic. We artists are very
oh
dramatic.
yeah, yeah, it's
It's
part it's
how
part of the
we
game.
do what we do. Yeah, I think definitely it was about the situation, and then um, somehow that I can do this, and then I started to and I think maybe it was this summer that if till the end of my life I write one song a week, person, I would be like, oh, that was a good life. So I think that's just what I'm going to do. A week. Yeah, because I don't know. For me, yeah, I have a lot of songs that only a couple of people heard or nobody ever heard, but still, I really liked writing them and I'll maybe record them in a better way. But it's not so important right now. But I really enjoyed writing them, and for me, I see myself more than a singer as a songwriter songs, and I don't know who else would sing them, so I sing them. uh,
Are
but
you familiar with Matchbox 20, the band?
Matchbox 20. I will check it out. What is it?
They were really popular back in the day. But I'm sure if you look him up, you'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, I know this guy. But the singer has a very particular voice, and one time they asked him why he never, because you can't say his voice is bad. It's just not normal, like or not the norm. Let me call it that, because Matchbox it's pop music, and the voice is kind of raspy and kind of, you know what? I know how you're gonna remember. He had a really big hit with Santana. You know
Mm-hmm.
the so smooth. If I could
Mm-hmm.
change my life, na, na. That's the guy. Uh, his name is escaping me. But anyways, they were asking him why he wanted to sing when he was younger, because his voice was always weird. And his answer was like, because they're my songs, and nobody's gonna sing my songs but me. and and I found that answer to be a little weird in a sense that it sounded like he was being conceited. But I could also identify with it a little bit because especially if you write very personal stuff, which you do, I
Mm-hmm.
do too. It almost feels like they are our babies, right? Like I wrote this thing,
Yeah.
I loved it, I gave it my all, and
Mm-hmm.
and I have to represent it. And like, not to say that I would be against somebody performing one of my songs, but I would be picky. You see what I mean?
Yeah. But for example, in the past, I wrote words for a song, and then Mela was singing it, and it was very nice. It wasn't maybe put the melodies, but it was really beautiful, and it was a fun experience. Do it so much after that. But for me, I think the fact that if you write a song for somebody else to sing, you can really go for it and be very, very, very free because to sing it. So I see a lot of advantages in writing songs not for yourself because there's this freedom element that you are not going to have if you sing it on your own. I think there is something uh, that you can connect the sound, the emotions that are inside. It's a yes, this special combination, and if it's somebody else who is singing the song.
I agree with that. I agree. On that same token, though, I've tried, and I've done it before. I've written for other people, and it's been fun. It's been a good experience overall. But there has been times where I wasn't able to do it. Like I was tasked one time to write a song for a famous artist, so like that was given the opportunity, and I was told specifically we want it to be about this subject and in this style. And because I felt that it was so specific that I had no freedom at all, it didn't come to me. I sat in front of the computer holding my guitar for days, and everything that came out of my mouth was to me horrendous. I was like, this is horrible. I can't do it. And of course, I missed the deadline. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So specific that they even give you the topic. That's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They gave me the topic, and it's not that I couldn't do. I mean, the Songwriters Challenge, the one that you were participating in, we're giving everyone the theme. So it would be horrible if I was to say, well, that's the worst when they do that to you. Because what does that
That's
make me?
still pretty flexible,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
flexible because it's your interpretation now. But a lot of the writing when you do it professionally, if you were ever to want to go down that route, is they'll say to you, for example. They'll say we're looking for a song for Shakira. It has to be in this key, right? It has to be about this subject. It has to be anywhere from 2 minutes and 45 to 3 minutes. The chorus at least three. They give you like a formula that they want you to obey, right? And um, because they also give you the range of the singer, they'll tell
Mhm.
you the singer likes to sing in this key and this range. If you don't sing in that range, which I didn't for this particular artist, I was struggling to think in that range. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. That's a interesting industry. Okay.
well, I will tell you what the real heroes and I say heroes, and you can't see me, but in air quotes of the music industry are the people writing the songs. Because yeah, I may say, oh, I don't like Justin Bieber, I don't like all this artists or whatever, but they're not the ones writing the music. Well, maybe Justin's an exception, but a lot of the pop artists don't write their own music. There's guys, there's girls. They're probably
Teams
been doing it
behind.
for like 40, 50 years, probably somewhere in Nashville, and they'll task them. They say, hey, we need a new song for Shania Twain in this style with this range, blah blah blah, and in 2 hours they got something.
Yeah. But for example, I think that's why that now there are a lot of people who started as songwriters that are actually becoming really amazing. Tia, the first album she had that had like all these big songs like Chandelier and whatever, they were all like the reject songs that nobody wanted from her, but she sang them so well that then they went and became really really big hits.
Well, I didn't know that.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's I think it's
But
really interesting that
and that's the other thing. And I do want to play one more song before we call it a day on this interview and the first Dominica online show ever on MSP. But because we will do this again, I promise you, you'll be invited again. But I do want to say something kind of funny regarding this subject. Even though we think we know that there is a formula that works, there are so many exceptions to that rule that we don't really know. And what I mean by that, like,
mhm,
I don't know if you're a Queen fan. I'm a Queen fan. I thought Freddie Mercury was amazing.
sure.
And when he wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, everybody and their mother told him, "You're wasting your time. That's crap. What are you doing? That's crap. No radio is ever going to play a song that's that long. It makes no sense. It's all over the place. It's crap." If he
I
would have
agree.
listened to those people, the world would have been deprived from one of the best rock anthems ever. And if there is a formula to make a hit, that song destroys all the rules. What rule? There's no rule. There's no rule. He did whatever he wanted. So, and that's a funny thing, right? Because we say if you ever get into songwriting class, if you ever do that, and I would honestly I would encourage people to do it, songwriters to do it, but just so you know what rules you can break. Because I took some lessons and it was good stuff, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, if that ever restrains you, like that holds you back, then put it in the garbage. Just know the rules so that you can break them. They'll give you these
Hmm.
things. They'll say, okay, listen, don't take more than 30 seconds to get to the chorus. No, never more than 30 seconds to get to the chorus. You got to sing the chorus at least 3 times, and you need a bridge. Usually after the second chorus. They give you these
Yeah.
rules, and when you
I
start,
know. I get really upset when somebody says have chorus and bridge, and it's like, no, I don't want to have that. I just want to have a one long thing, and that's it. Yeah,
well, because
I
it's
totally
so it's
understand.
so important to be true to what's coming out of your soul, and I think honestly that's why I connect to your music because it doesn't feel like you were playing it for me. It feels like you were playing it because that's what was inside of you, and I connected to it.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
I think. Yeah, I think it's something that's really important. That on one hand, yeah, it's good when you maybe know how to play guitar or can hit the right tones, but also then there's this other quality that it's good to develop, like this listening to yourself or being connected with yourself and to do things that help you to connect with yourself because me I see songwriting Like there are so many, many, many songs out there just floating around, and so many ideas. Easy to write songs, and I feel like it's this never-ending well of songs, and you just like sit down and you take one, and that's it. Like this is how I see songwriting, and
Like they're up in an ethos and a cloud, and you just hold on to them.
yeah,
Is that how you see it?
yeah, yeah, that they're like floating around, and you just sit and press button download, and
You
it
know
will
what?
come.
I thought of it like that too. I like that idea. I thought of it like that.
Yeah, me too. And sometimes it comes and it's really beautiful and it's really great, and sometimes it comes and it's not much, nothing special, and I think that's okay. And I think it's good if you don't of the songs. And I think maybe that's why I what was the song about, or how does this song sound, or what chords did I play for this song? Because I don't think they belong to me or something like that. And they came, and so I captured them, and that's it.
You know who said something like this? He might have been the first person I ever heard him say. Do you like Bob Dylan? Tell me you do. Do you like Bob Dylan? Dominica, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, now I can. Yeah, do you like Bob Dylan? That's what I was asking you.
Yes, yes, I do.
Good, because I was about to throw this laptop in the water. Listen, Bob Dylan, he's one of my personal heroes. I mean, the guy has so many good songs. It's not even funny. And there's an interview. I would have to use the Google Wiki machine, like I call it, to find it. But there's an interview when they asked him, how does he do it? Because I don't know if you know this. He's got the Guinness records of how many top songs, how many of songs of his have been hits. He's got the
Yes.
world record on that. There's so many. He's recorded so many albums, and the thing of it is, a lot of people don't know that it is his songs because many people cover him, and they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a Bob Dylan song. They just like, oh yeah, I love that song. The Adele song. It's so beautiful. That's not Adele. That's a cover of Bob Dylan. What?
But I knew it was Bob Dylan.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about like not you, okay? I'm talking about the general populace. They don't know that those are Dylan songs. Like I like somebody telling me, "Oh yeah, that song, the Jimi Hendrix song, the Watchtower. That's my favorite Hendrix song." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Bob Dylan." No way. Yeah, I so many times I have that happens in my life where I have to tell somebody that tells me they love a song and I go, "That's Dylan," and they had no idea. But anyways, to the story, one of the interviewers or the reporters asking him, "Hey man, how do you do it? How do you write so many good songs?" And his answer was super ninja. He just said, "Well, you got it all wrong. I don't write songs. I write them down."
Mm-hmm.
And that was like at least to me, it like hit me in the chest. Like, ugh, yeah, that's right. Like because he's basically describing in his own way, in a very short way, what you are, which is he would connect to some sort of emotion, he would connect to some sort of idea, and it's almost like they're telling him what to write. And I know that sounds kind of like, I don't know, like maybe ethereal or magical, but it is. I find music to be just that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yeah, there's this really nice TED talk and a book by the lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, Liz Gilbert.
Hmm.
She has like this whole theory, and the book is really great, and TED talk is really great. That that it's not something that is inside of you and you made it on your own, but it's something external. And if we look at art, then it gives us, I think, a little bit more freedom. And like you said, that a lot of pressure on a person when he thinks, okay, I wrote the best song ever, I wrote the best-selling book, whatever. And then what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Good not to internalize it too much. This is only me. I wrote the best song only by myself, and yeah,
Speaking of
to
the best
stay
song
sane.
only by yourself, you shared, of course, more music with me, and before we end our conversation today, I want to play some more. This one here is actually the last one you wrote for the competition, right? So I'm talking about the Songwriters Challenge. So this is it's called Anxiety, right?
Yes.
I already listened to it, obviously, prior to this because I'm also one of the judges. I am going to restrain from saying too much just because. But I want you to tell me why is it called anxiety? Am I causing anxiety in your life by having you write, giving you 4 days to write?
No.
I have to say, don't get me wrong, love the song. It was beautiful, and your voice beautiful as always. But when I saw the title, I worried a little bit, and it is because there's a few people that have written to me. You haven't done this, but a few people have written to me and they said, "Say, Mano, listen, I need more time." It's like I can't do it. It's like I feel like if I'm gonna try to write a song in 4 or 5 days, I can't go to work. And I'm like, well, that's not the idea. Obviously, it's not like I want people to lose their job, but that's also why it's called a challenge because it's not easy, to write a song in a short period of time. What is the motivation behind the song? What were you thinking?
Oh,
What was your
the
emotional
motivation
state?
behind. Actually, originally this song was the topic right time, right place. Like a really, really happy song, like this, I don't know, Spanish rhythm and a really happy song. And then I didn't really like it, so I changed it. And the topic of this song, it was because I just, like I mentioned in the post, I just read this really long article about procrastination. And I realized that so many things in my life, not because I'm lazy, but because I was really, really anxious of something. And I realized that just these patterns that I carry since my childhood, that I don't do something because I don't want to hurt somebody. Um, Want to perform better than them because then I will feel like, oh, they will not love me because they didn't do so well. And it's like a lot of very unhealthy patterns, or I don't know, that if somebody was criticizing me before, that I took it way too personally, and sometimes don't even criticize me, but I already project these patterns from childhood on them. And it's just, yeah, that I was carrying around a lot of anxiety. And I don't know, I think last week was maybe because of the new year and the period for thinking about your life and so on. I was just in this discovering anxiety mood. I felt like it's the right place to leave the anxiety behind. Also, I was very anxious from this interview,
Oh,
but
you're
but
kidding me. Well, I hope
um,
it's been pleasant up until now.
it was really, really, really nice, really great. I'm used to being on the other side because in my job I interview people,
Got you.
future jobs.
So
So
I
it
switched
was
it
a
on you.
different concept, but it's really nice. No, it's really, really pleasant. I really don't know what I was worried about, but I was like, hey, let's just get over with it. I want it to be behind.
My
um,
idea behind this show, and I told you this when we were chatting last time, is I'm all about original music. That's the thing that drives me. That's the thing that I'm not exaggerating when I say that music saved my life because it has, and not on one occasion, but many times when I've been in my lowest emotional state, when I've been the most depressed, it was the process of writing songs, the process of sharing music with other people that pulled me out of there. So I value original music. I value what you do. It much more than just for the music itself. I value it because of the amount of emotional wealth, let's call it that those songs represent, the amount of emotional fortitude. So, um, and with that in mind, I kept on thinking as this contest was going on. I kept on thinking, I hope you share this opinion, but I kept on thinking, look at all this amazing music that is happening because of the contest. There's so many great
yeah,
songs that are happening because of the contest. Look at all this beautiful people, and I mean it in more ways than one. And I'm like, I want them to know, and I want other people to know how much I value them, and I want other people to value them too, in the same way that I do. Because um, even though this contest is for musicians, the songs are not just for musicians. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking, how can I help, even if it's a little bit, to put these songs in more ears? Because there's more people need to listen to what we've been doing.
Beautiful songs, and because of this short time, I don't actually have time to always listen to all the other entries, or sometimes I can't even listen to anybody else because there's just no time. But the people that I discovered, they were so beautiful. I really my big fan, and I'm sending a big hello to Luis. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Ciao.
Oh, Luis Ferchav, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he
he's
blew
really
my mind
amazing,
a couple
and
a couple of times already.
yeah, helped me today to set up Ableton Live. So big thank you for that. Um, anyway, so I really love his music, and I'm sorry that I didn't manage to discover too many other people. So maybe that's why it would be good to have this radio show to actually listen to the people and there, because yeah, definitely I'm very grateful for this competition, because I wouldn't have wrote so many songs, and now, and actually when I wrote them I just posted them and I never listened to them again. But this week I was coming back to them and I was like, wow, I really like this song. How do I play this song?
You forgot
um,
your own chords. You're like, what chord is that? Okay, I'm
yeah,
doing a C. Is that what I?
write down the melodies and the chords because I just it's too many things to keep in my head. Um, but yeah, and about this song, Anxiety, I'm very happy about this song and very grateful for it. And it's not like, I don't want it to be this like, oh, I'm anxious and the world is horrible, but it's more like I'm aware of anxiety and issues and all these pre-programmed patterns in my head and behavior and of it, and it's okay, and I'm happy to move on, and it's the right time to move on and to, make your decisions not based on anxiety, but maybe on something else.
Well, there you
So I'm
go.
very grateful for it.
There
Yeah,
you go.
and I really didn't expect that the be connected with it so much, but it was really nice to read all the comments of the people, and
Oh, it was loved by everybody. Like I saw it on the trending page, and I'm going like, "What is this?" I normally start to listen to everything on Monday, but
mhm.
I just had to listen before because like, what is this? And I saw it was like a 250 something. I was like, oh, it has to be great. And then sure enough,
Yeah, I was really surprised, and it also was one of these things that I posted it at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Then I went to bed, and I woke up and I got nearly a heart attack. It's like, oh
well, let's
the
listen to your heart attack then. I'm sure that people want to know what is this thing that is trending on the open mic page. So this one is
cool.
called
Let's do that.
Anxiety, and this was for week. The theme of the week was the right time, the right place. Here we go.
Hi, this is Open Mic, week 66, and Songwriters Challenge, week 7. All I am is here. My senses come and leave me. Leave me now. Yes, this is the right time. I cannot carry you anymore around, and this is the right time to say goodbye. And I never wanted an easy way, but anxiety, you can cannot stay. You cannot stay. You cannot stay. You cannot stay. All I am is here. My senses come and leave me, holding back, stepping down on my own. I took off the crown, and this is the right time to say goodbye. And I never wanted an easy way, but anxiety, you cannot stay. You cannot stay. You cannot stay. You cannot stay. All I am is here. My senses come and leave me.
What a beautiful song. It's very, very special. I'm listening to it. I think this is probably the fourth time I listened to it today, actually.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? If somebody listens to that and doesn't get, the some feels like they say here in Discord, they're broken. I swear.
Yeah, well, um, I'm happy that in the end it wasn't the first original happy version of this song about something completely different. Um, and yeah, that sometimes it takes a bit longer for the song to come. And yeah, I like this song too. It's for me also to see it like, oh, this is the song. Okay.
I have to tell you, Dominica, because I may have not mentioned this, and you may have missed my post. We are going to restart the competition. Not right away.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
not right away because
Cool.
people need a break, and I get it, and everybody needs to kind of like breathe, and it makes perfect sense that we take a break. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Lucifer a few hours ago, and he said to me, I need a break because, open mic has been growing so quickly. He's completely overwhelmed. But one of the things that we're talking about to do for the next contest is not only give a prize. This contest, as you know, the winner's going to get a guitar, and to think that's only 2 weeks away, and then I'm going to be shipping it out. It's pretty amazing.
A week away.
Yeah, it's a week away. Like
Yeah.
we start the new cycle tomorrow. 7 days from then, we will announce the winner. 7 8 days, and then there it goes. The guitar goes.
Easy.
That's pretty crazy, right? But we are talking about doing it even more crazy for the next round. We're
Okay.
talking about well, I don't know when this show is going to air, so but it's okay because it might air before we actually go into the next round. We are going to be doing recording bundles, for the prices. So besides the first, the winner that is probably going to have the super nice gift, the prize, we're going to have recording bundles as well. And what that means is like an interface, microphones, a pop
Nice.
stand, all
Awesome.
that stuff. So the songwriters can have their little home studio We might even have a couple of those and maybe in different sizes. And we are also having a conversation about getting some producers involved, meaning that, and I'm throwing this out there because this is kind of the idea. Don't know the details yet, but what we could do, let's say, one of the winners or one of the prizes could be a fully produced song by, one of the producers and musicians from the platform. So, um, to give you an example, Luis Verchav, he produces. He's actually
Yeah.
an excellent engineer as well. So if hypothetically we could have one of your songs competing, winning the best song of the competition, or we can come up with a clever name, and having it fully produced by Steemit musicians, one of your own songs. So you go there, you record the voice, you record maybe the track of the guitar so that there's a structure. Then we get all these musicians involved and we make a full production with, powered by Steam, which is an amazing idea in my head. It blows my mind that we can pull this off, but we totally can because we have enough talent on the platform and enough resources as of now to pull this off. And the best part is that every single person involved is going to get paid for it. And that's just the best, because we can have each one of them documenting the process of doing the song, documenting the tracking of, let's say bass, let's say guitars, let's say keyboards, whatever it might be, making posts about such things, and then the community itself would support those posts, upvote them and whatnot, to basically compensate them for their actions. Then we can, so the possibilities
Idea.
are crazy. Like I think
Yeah.
about this stuff and I'm going to bed and I'm smiling like a fat kid in a bakery, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be,
Nice.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so
Nice.
awesome, right?
Awesome. For me, I have to say, I'm really, really happy with this Songwriters Challenge because for me, I like it much more than the open mic because I feel like in the open mic, things are starting to get really lost. And last time, okay, there were some crazy number, 300, more than 300 entries. And obviously, you can't listen to that many people. And the original songs are, getting. And I think we both are into like emotional original songs. And
100%.
sometimes in the open mic, they get maybe like the funny songs and parodies get more attention, which are great, and I really love them. But I don't think it's the same category, and it's kind of strange to compete. It's like if a runner is competing with a swimmer, they're faster.
Yeah,
You know.
you said that perfectly. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
A runner, a runner and a swimmer
That's why
go
I'm
like
very
1, 2, 3, go.
so that's I'm very grateful for the songwriters competition because I feel like it brought more like people closer together that care more about the same thing and people who care more about
We
find
are,
it in open mic. But yeah, and I really love this new idea for this new competition because also for me I was thinking like, okay, I would really love to maybe somebody does the beats and I can do the voice and to create this cooperation with other people, and we don't have to necessarily be in the same city or in the same room, but it would be really great if we could cooperate like this. And for me, my future, I'm really now, I need to figure out, okay, what kind of microphone am I going to buy and what kind of audio interface. And I really want to get maybe a MIDI controller and start to make a little bit more electronic music because that's something that for me, it's very interesting. And it's quite funny because for me, acoustic guitar, it's not my main tool.
yeah,
My main thing is,
you could have
yeah,
told
I
me.
feel like my main thing, yeah, I feel like my main thing is piano. And, but I don't live in a place where I have piano right now, so I just became better at guitar. And also, you find more guitars when you travel around. So I just play guitar because there's
The
no
convenience.
piano to
Yeah.
play. Yeah, for the convenience. But I started to like it a lot. But I really want to get a piano and get more into it. And
I have a theory
the,
regarding instruments. I think instruments pick you. You don't pick them. Like ideally, you want to pick them, but you don't. They pick you.
absolutely, absolutely. And actually one of the first. It was the first original song that I posted on Steemit. It's the Map of My Mind, and I recorded it on guitar. But the original version, it's on piano, and I think I sent you also a link on SoundCloud so you can hear it and compare. And it's a different mood. And for me on piano, it's a little bit easier to create different kinds of moods. Slowly, it's coming to the guitar too. So
I've said a few times, and I'll say it before. I mean, I've said it again, that if I had a choice, and it's gonna sound kind of dumb for me to say this. I'm listening to myself, and I'm thinking, am I really gonna say this on a video on the radio? But if I had a choice, I think I would want to play piano. Because it's like as somebody who writes songs, as somebody who wants to produce, and I've produced a lot of music myself, it is the most complete of the instruments, right? You can do all the arrangements. You can do harmony, melody, and even rhythm on one thing. Now that being said, I did try to learn piano. I can play it, but it never made me want to play it. If that makes any sense. My main instrument is bass. It's the one that I love, the one that I play the
nice.
most, and it's obviously the one that I play the best. And I play guitar just because the bass, you can strum a bass. I guess you could. I mean, they're gonna think you're
Yeah,
probably
no.
a little crazy, but you can do it. And guitar became this thing to where, well, I'm gonna use the guitar to write the songs, but then I'm gonna go into my bass and just play bass for the song itself. And then the band that I had, I was the bass player and a singer. Um, and if I was to tell you, like, well, which instrument? Yeah, I wish I could play piano. It would be better. That way I can tell the guitar player, hey, listen, no, I want you to use this voicing here, do this and that. I could tell the sax player, hey, no, do this melody and also that. But I play the bass. It picked me
I
though.
think
I say jokingly that I'm also designed to be a bass player because obviously you can't see my hands, but they're very. I got like sausage fingers. They're like really big. So when I when I grab a guitar, it always feels like, oh, these tiny little strings. I don't know. I'm gonna break them. And and bass, I can just be as rough as I want to, and nothing's gonna happen to it.
But also I think maybe it was Radiohead who said that that one of the best things how to get new ideas and new creative ideas is tool and try different instrument. And it's the same for painting or drawing. That okay, you are still drawing the same thing. Try a different brush, and you will get a totally different result.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I have a ukulele. I have djembes, cajones. I pretty much dabble on everything. So if you give me anything, I'll figure it out. I can make some sounds. But if it feels home when I'm on the bass, just like it feels home when you are on the piano, I would assume.
This Christmas, I really, 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 really fell in love with electric guitar. It was so beautiful. We had this jam, and this guy had this electric guitar, and it was so amazing. And just so many different, like very soft, sweet sound. Not like this. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it was so beautiful and very interesting story of the guitar. He bought it from this Slovak guitarist, and he used the same guitar on an album of one of my most favorite Slovak singers that I used to listen to when I was a teenager. The guitar that I played was played on that album that I used to listen to when I was in high school.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like, oh
wow.
my god, yeah, crazy. But definitely next thing, if I have a space and money, electric guitar. Wait for me.
No, you know what? You never know. That might happen in the future. Maybe it's something that it can be part of the prizes for the next contest. We joke about this, but it's not so difficult for it to become a reality because if and I'm not saying that I can predict the future because obviously I can't, but I believe that Steam is going to keep on growing, and if it is, and the valuation of Steam keeps on going up, it's not going to be too difficult to pull it off. You know?
Yeah, totally. For me, I'm uh, still, I don't want to say it. I'm usually extremely optimistic about everything, but trying to be realistic that, yeah, nobody knows what is going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the whole world. So to go for it and or people involved. And but at the same time, with things that you are passionate about in your real life, that I'm not planning to spend now all my days in front of computer trying to dollars. I think it's important that you still do what you love and use it like a tool to share the love with other people all around the world.
Well,
But
that's actually a super healthy way of looking at it. I I
content
commend
comes
you for that.
first and then the money and everything else. And also, I think once your heart is in it, also the money and Steam dollars and everything, it will come because people will be able to connect with this authentic thing and not something that you made just because, oh, I want to make money.
Oh, I agree with
With
that
everything.
100%. But honestly, that's why I think the Steemit open mic community and Steam in general really, because it's not just specifically to musicians, but I speak about musicians because that's the one thing I feel that I'm part of. That's why it has me so excited and I'm so happy about it because I believe that it can be that one thing that if you do what you're passionate about, if you are truly being genuine, like you're just gonna put out there what comes out of your heart, it will be compensated without you having to think about, oh, you know, all right, so the people, what is in right now? So right now is reggaeton. Oh, okay, so let me make a reggaeton because if I don't make reggaeton, nobody's gonna give me likes. We are not. I don't think we're ever gonna go down that path because it is in many ways we are paving our own road, and that's why I'm excited about it. If you wanted today to make money as a songwriter, and even more so as a performer, but as a songwriter, you would have to be writing music that you probably would not like. And for me, reggaeton, I hate reggaeton, can't stand it. And then maybe I'm closed-minded, but I can't stand it. And to think that if I was to work in this field, outside of Steam, of course, I would have to be dealing with it. I would have to be producing it, recording it. I might as well, and I don't mean to put anybody down, but I might as well go peel potatoes in a restaurant. Sounds better to me.
Hmm. I think, reggaeton, you just need to be in the right environment.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not saying I'm proud of the fact that I can't stand it, but I can stand it. Like if you ever want to see me in a bad mood, play reggaeton, and within 5 minutes, my smile is completely dead. I'm done.
Well, there's right time for everything, I guess. It will come maybe in like 40 years or so. You'll be like, oh my god, it has been here all this time. It's amazing.
No, no, you just described my nightmare. I don't want that to ever happen. Well, listen, Dominica, I'm not gonna hold you forever. We've had an awesome conversation. I loved it. I think the future is very bright for you in this platform. I think you're gonna do fantastic, and not just because of the open mic or because of your songwriting skills. It's just because you're a great person and you're a beautiful human
Thank you
being,
so
and
much.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that see it too. So if you stick to it like you have been lately, if you don't disappear again for another year, I don't think it's gonna be hard for you to have enough income from Steemit so that you could do another loop around the world, which is just fantastic. I think it's amazing that you've been in so many
Yeah,
countries.
thank you. Yeah, that's my secret dream that I don't tell anybody, but I will tell you. So this year, I would like to maybe record some small album or something like this, and then go and travel and share this music with other people. So we will see how it goes. It's on one hand big dream, but on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but what else would I do? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, that's an amazing goal to go around the world sharing your songs. It's all powered by Steam.
Mm.
I'll send some bid bots down, to those posts. I
Yeah,
honestly, my
we'll see.
vote is not the biggest yet, but if I was a whale and I would be seeing that I have an original musician traveling the world powered by Steam, I would be completely behind supporting that project. That's almost like,
Thank you so much.
yeah, it's excellent promotion. I want all musicians, and
Mm.
I've said this jokingly, but I'm serious. I want all original musicians to come to Steemit, not just a few, all of them. It'll
You
be.
know,
Tell me.
yesterday I was at this open mic and I shared like Steemit with other people. I was like, okay, go and check it out. But still, it's a little bit confusing, I think, for people who are not so great with computers, don't really understand what is cryptocurrency. Like, it's a lot of that people just don't get. Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, I need to write this post about you are a musician, you write original music, this is what you do it. Um, but yeah, and also this website that people are talking about. It'll be cool to have like a more clear vision, and I think then it will be even easier to get more and more new people coming to Steemit.
I would encourage you to take that upon yourself. You can say, oh, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna start bringing some talent on, and I'll tell you two reasons why. And with this, we can pretty much end the interview. But I'll tell you two reasons why. For one, I think good things, and let me use the word blessings, are only blessings or great if they are shared. That's my philosophy. There's like if there's something amazing, something powerful, something beautiful, and we keep it to ourselves, it might as well be dirt. That's the way I see it. It's only when we share with people that we care for, that fantastic people, that we really experience the blessings, that those things bring to our lives. But number two, which is on the flip side of that, beautiful thought, is the more people that we bring over, the more songwriters that we bring over, the more we win. Because to not get crazy complicated, the more demand we create for Steam, the more quality content we create for Steam, the more valuable Steam becomes. So, like right now, you look at your account and you say, you know what? Turns out my Steam with current valuation is worth $3,000. That's pretty impressive if you ask me for blogging online. But a year from now, if we have a roster of musicians here, if we have not just 20, not 30, we have 300 people writing original music, how much do you think the Steam is going to be worth?
I have no idea.
But see, that's something we again. I'm not Nostradamus. I can't see the future, but it would be difficult not to see how Steam would be worth a lot more. It would obviously be worth a lot more. Like if just think about what would happen if the first quote unquote record label. I don't really like record labels, but they call it record label of Steam starts to put out original material from Steam it, compiling quality stuff from Steemit, putting it out there, and then using the financing of Steemit to push that to iTunes, to push it to all these other platforms, but everything starting from this one. Like, yeah, I'm dreaming big right now. I'll give that to you. I'm kind of like shooting for the clouds, but this is not impossible. This is not something that, oh, you know what, Andres, I don't know what you put in your cereal, but you're tripping. No, no, no. It is possible. It's not possible today, but it could be very possible 1 year from now, maybe two.
Yeah. Well, say I have a lot of friends who are artists. Actually, I think maybe I don't even have friends who are not artists.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
really, really happy to share with them. But for example, Mela, she's a really great example. That I told her, okay, this is what you do, and do it, and she did it, and she did really well, and she shared her beautiful music with so many people, and I'm so happy that it worked out for her. But I know that a lot of people don't get it straight away so easily. So yeah, I think it's one of the things that if I don't do, nobody else will do. So I will just have to do it to make it like a little bit more clear. And also, I don't have time to explain to everybody like, okay, now open Bittrex wallet
Oh no no, you
and
you leave that to
this
you leave that to us. You bring them to
and
MSP, you bring them to PAL. We take care of them for you. You get them in here. We take care of the rest. And I'm serious.
um.
I've done so much training
Oh,
lately with all the new minnows, and I enjoy it actually.
okay.
I enjoy helping people out. But that's what MSP is for. That's what PAL is for. This is the server that we
Is
are on.
MSP and PAL, but
The
okay.
Minnow support group, which is this radio station is part of it, and MSP Waves, which is the radio station that we are on, is basically one of the side. No, well, I would say the two parallel projects of the PAL network. It's a peace, abundance, and liberty and it's this project that started. Maybe I should have started by telling you this, by the way, with a few of the witnesses, and now there's like 5 or 6 witnesses of Steam that are part of this project, and there's 7,000 plus people on this Discord server that are sharing and ideas, helping each other out, and all this stuff. So my point is this: somebody that invites somebody else to Steam it should not feel like, oh, I want to, but I'm gonna have to explain everything about Steemit. Well, they will look up to you. I mean, they will try to find some answers from you, but there is things you can do. And if you refer them to PAL, if you refer them to MSP, to this Discord server, they're gonna be in the right place to get all their answers, and it's not gonna be on you.
Nice, 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 nice. Because I'm part of a pal here on Discord, but I actually never used Discord besides this interview, and there is still so much that I don't know. I understand what is Steam Dollar, but I don't really understand still what is Steam Power and things like that. So I need to get some education myself.
But you're in the right place. I'm gonna encourage you to start obviously. I don't know what your schedule is, but I can give it to you at the end of the interview. I can just send you a couple links so that you stay on top of what's going on in here. And the truth of the matter is that there's all kinds of shows, there's all kinds of things going on. There's a show that is specific to teach people about cryptocurrencies. There's a show to kind of keep you motivated. There's even a heavy metal show, which is super fun on Thursday. So there's all kinds of things going on this server. And yeah, and the moderators here, which also obviously are Steemians, are the ones that always help out the minnows. So they teach them, how to register the accounts. They have a free upvoting services on here for the people that are starting out. So because at the beginning it's so tough, nobody pays attention to you. So you coming in here, you got free upvotes. They're done by the server. There's always contests for them so they can win some Steam. There's all kinds of stuff going on here every single week, every single day. So it's really it's designed for user retention, because it's never been too hard, I guess, not incredibly hard to convince somebody, hey, you want to make some money, come here. That's pretty easy to say. What is harder to do is once they get here and they have to try to figure out everything on their own, and they make a couple posts and then they see nothing. They're like a couple of pennies and they don't really understand what's going on. They go, like, okay, that's it, I'm out. This is all a lie. Which is, funny enough, it's kind of what happened with you at the very beginning, and I'm so glad you decided to give it another try. But that's been the experience for many people. So if we are going to bring other musicians, other songwriters, we don't want that to happen to them.
Cool. Great. Well, I'm happy to hear that.
Amazing.
That's awesome. And yeah, I want to say a big, big thank you for everything you do and for all your competitions and for all the support that you give to all the musicians. It's really, really amazing how you are this really good example of abundance. That I always feel very positive when I read some comment from you or post. Oh, okay.
It is awesome that you never felt you had a stalker. That gives me some peace. I'm like,
I felt I had a stalker, but it wasn't you. Anyway, but I think that's just part of being a musician. That it's funny, that people who you never met tell you these very personal, beautiful things. It's such a strange concept that you don't really get if you work as an engineer. Like, oh my god, your code that you wrote, it was so beautiful. It made me cry. Like, people don't really hear that.
Well, you know what? I'm sure somebody has said that before. The world is that bizarre.
Sure.
Oh
but
my god, your code made me cry.
It's a very interesting new experience for me to beautiful comments from people that I never met. It's beautiful, yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the magical things of this place, honestly. It also changed my emotional state when I first found it for that same reason. I shared some songs, and all of a sudden I had all this positive reinforcement of, what you're doing is right. The songs that you're doing is right. If I was to tell you I was depressed right before I got into onto Steam, you wouldn't think so. You're like, oh, you're always writing positive things, but I was, and finding this platform, finding the open mic, and finding the musicians that I found, it I really did a 180 for me, and I want to do that for other people.
So you just your main thing is that you are doing Steemit, and then you have your music shop, right? And you are a musician, obviously.
Yeah, yeah,
That's nice.
I do a lot of things to stay busy. Eventually, of course, it would be amazing. It could happen if one day I'm only doing Steam It. It could happen, but but
Nice.
I'm also not gonna be as crazy as right now to say, okay, I'm picking the color of my Lambo, and I'm closing shop, because you don't know, maybe a month from now we the valuation of Steam will go down and the payouts will go down and there'll be 2 or 3 months of struggling a little bit. It could happen, or it could be the other way around. So I would never advise anybody to like, hey, quit your job just do Steam. Not today. This might now a year from now, I have no idea, but maybe a year from now
Yeah, I think.
I'll tell you, hey, listen, I closed the store. That's it. I'm only doing Steam. That would be amazing.
But I think in general, it's always good to diversify the sources of your income. That whatever you do, it's nice if okay, you share it online, but you share it in real life. You have concerts, you do this, you sell guitars, you help people
Oh,
to learn music.
I do so many things. Like on that front, I don't think I will ever be bored because I mean I build guitars. I also build them. I don't know if I told you that.
Oh, amazing.
I do some real estate. Like I got my hands in so many cookie jars, and it's only because I'm the type of person that I always want to learn, and I'm always willing
Beautiful.
to understand that I don't know things, but I wanna remove ignorance from my life, and I'm always trying to see, oh, what else can I learn? Oh, what else can I learn? So
Beautiful. Great. Well, I'm sure you will have a lot of fun cutting down this 2.5 hour long interview.
it is gonna
um,
be a lot of fun. Now,
Great.
I enjoyed it greatly. I honestly thank you so much for doing this with me, for having this conversation. I thought it was amazingly productive, and
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me.
you're more than welcome. I got to know a side of you that I knew it existed because I feel like I know you a little bit because of your music, and yeah, I don't know what to say. I think this is awesome. This
Same
is getting
here.
started with the right foot, and we will do this
Same here.
again.
Thank you. Nice to like. Okay, they are real people. It's not just
It's not just
robots and
avatars.
computers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. All right, so that's gonna be it for the show.